So the 2024 NBA draft class never really had any crazy expectations. You know, GMs weren't shy about the fact that they felt it was pretty weak, and that many of them would be looking forward to this upcoming class featuring Cooper Flag. And in hindsight, I can't blame them. You know, I understand it's early and the season ain't over till it's over, but so far, these GMs may have been right. And considering we're now at the All-Star break, it's the perfect time to reflect on things and hand out mid-season grades for some of the top names among rookies. So yeah, pretty straightforward video. This draft has definitely had a couple surprises, and per usual, today we gotta talk about it. Y'all go ahead and let me know in the comments, man, who has been your favorite rookie so far? Do you agree this rookie class isn't that special, or why not? And yeah, bro, really quick before I go any further, what's up YouTube? Plug Speaks back with another video. If you're new, first of all, welcome. Go ahead and sub. Also like the video if you enjoy. I upload quality basketball content and we're on the grind to 5K, so I most def appreciate it. But yeah, man, back to the video. Alright, first up is Zaccharie Risacher, Hawks' first pick, and one of the only first picks in recent history, at least as much as I remember, where so many people seem so uninterested. I mean, maybe it's because he played overseas, so a lot of us didn't see his performance on his rise to becoming the first pick in the first place. But regardless, his performance in the NBA thus far hasn't been super convincing. Through 48 games, he's put up averages of 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist, shooting 43% from the field and 31% from 3 in about 24 minutes a game. Which aren't, these are by no means terrible numbers, but it pretty much reflects the story of a season so far of being pretty average. In the words of Atlanta's front office, they chose Risacher because they were impressed by his two-way ability, his defense, shot-making ability, and basketball IQ. You see, they liked how developed he appeared to already be, and it really piqued their interest. However, midway through the season, though he's had a game in which he hit 6 threes, his shot-making ability has been very mediocre at 31% from 3. His defense so far is just okay, and overall he's left a lot to be desired. However, it is super early in his career. I'm by no means ruling him out, but for someone who went first overall, you feel me, the first pick, his performance is at best a C. Maybe a C minus. Next up is Sarr, the Wizards' second overall pick. And I mean, at second overall, again, we're not talking about some slouch. You're expected to, bring some firepower when you're taking that high. And although he hasn't been hooping at some crazy level, his production is much more in line with what Washington intended for him. You see, the Wizards drafted Sarr in hopes of picking up a big, and that could help transform the team defensively. And it makes sense considering the fact that even now, as I'm recording this video, the Wizards rank 30th as the worst defensive team in the league. You see, based on his play in the NBL, the Wizards were most impressed by his rim protection abilities in addition to his fundamental knacks for scoring. And thus far, he's been doing his part for the most part. In 42 games played, he's averaging 11 points, just under 7 rebounds, nearly 2 blocks and 2 assists on 39% shooting from the field and 30% from 3, which is by no means impressive. However, some of his attributes and the time he has to develop as a player make me a believer in his potential in this league. I mean, come on, at 7 foot with a 7'5" wingspan on a team that's probably some years away from playoff contention, Sarr should have plenty of time to work on his offense. More specifically, his ability to shoot the ball. I mean, he shoots 30% from deep, but attempts about 5 of them a game. Simply improving this area would mean worlds of progress for him as a player. So all things considered, simply the fact that his production is at least more in line with what the Wizards picked him up for in the first place at least warrants a B- mid-season grade. You feel me? Next, we got Stefon Castle, Spurs' 4th pick and the current frontrunner for Rookie of the Year. And also someone who just gave us a damn good All-Star Slam Dunk contest, so shout out to him for that. But yeah, he's noticeably been taking great strides in production pretty much every month. For instance, in the 7 games he's played this February, he's averaging 18 points, 3 assists and 3 rebounds, shooting 51% from the field and 42% from 3. Now, these numbers come from a fairly small sample size, and his numbers over the course of the whole season are much less impressive. However, I believe this stretch speaks to his potential. You see, the Spurs picked him up because they liked his size at the guard position, his pride in being a two-way player, his ability to play make, and potential on offense. So I imagine learning behind Chris Paul, in addition to De'Aaron Fox after the trade deadline, he will only continue to improve upon these skills, specifically as it relates to offense. He already plays with great pace, he doesn't seem to let the game rush him, he lets it come to him, but the consistency in shot making is definitely the greatest struggle area at the moment. But even still, he's super well rounded, he's the Rookie of the Year frontrunner for a reason, and so he gets an A as far as mid-season performance. Next up is the Timberwolves' Rob Dillingham, the 8th pick in the NBA draft, and someone whose rookie year probably hasn't gone how he anticipated at all. I mean, as one of the top guard prospects coming out of Kentucky, he probably didn't expect to be receiving 13 minutes a game, playing behind a 37-year-old Mike Conley. But regardless, in the few moments of opportunity he's gotten, he's taken advantage. His career high thus far is 19 points in a performance where he shot 8 for 11 from the field, went 3 for 5 from deep, including 8 assists, all in the span of 23 minutes. Anthony Edwards is already on the record saying he feels Rob should play more and that he sees a lot of himself in Rob. So this just goes to show the type of potential he really has, and that when the time comes where he's receiving more consistent PT, he will likely surprise a lot of people with his production. And because I feel that's the case, his midseason grade so far is a solid B. Anyway, next up we've got 76ers 16th pick, Jared McCain, everyone's favorite NBA TikToker. You see, talking about Jared McCain is so bittersweet because the run he was on as a rookie was beautiful. You know, all the credit in the world to that man Stefon Castle, but let's not cap. Jared McCain was running away with the Rookie of the Year award had he not gotten injured. And when it was announced that he's ruled out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury, it was just like, damn. Literally, the singular beam of light the 76ers had was flushed out because Paul George has just been a letdown. Joel Embiid is so flimsy. So Jared McCain is here like, yeah, you know, young, energetic guard, great shot making skills, averaging 15 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, shooting 46% from the field and 38% from 3. But he gets injured. I mean, sheesh. Tough situation. But up to that point, he was balling, so I had to put him in this video, and he gets an easy A+. Next up is Memphis Grizzlies' Zach Edey, the 9th pick in the past draft, and someone who was honestly a pretty interesting prospect entering the NBA because he had a fairly long college basketball career and there was a lot of questions around him as a prospect simply because it seemed as if he was only dominating the college basketball game because he spent so much time there and because he was huge. I mean, at 7'4", it's not going to be many centers at the Division I basketball level that can even compete with that. I mean, just being real. However, since he's been in the NBA, he has delivered on what the Grizzlies picked him up for, which is simply a fundamental big man providing help to the team defensively. In the 40 games he's played, he's averaging just under 10 points, 8 rebounds, and a block, shooting 58% from the field and 68% on free throws. So definitely a lot of room for improvement here, but he is doing his job. And for that, I give his midseason grade a solid B. But moving on here, last but not least for today's video, let's talk Kelel Ware, Miami's 15th pick and someone who I think a lot of people may be sleeping on as far as their potential in this league. Because for someone taken midway through the first round and not being a top priority, I could see Kelel Ware producing like the likes of Larry Markkinen or Evan Mobley. You know, borderline all-star centers in the NBA one day. And that's simply because of the versatility in his skill set. Standing at 7 foot, he has a lot of those fundamental big man capabilities, you know, blocking shots, grabbing boards, scoring in the paint. But he can also score on the perimeter a little bit, shooting the mid-range, and also just space the floor. In 38 games played, he's averaging just under 9 points, 6 rebounds, and a block, shooting 53% from the field and 35% from 3. So just that 3-point percentage alone, a lot of 7-foot centers are not doing that. But I mean, definitely Kelel Ware's problem right now, besides, just developing as a pro, is his consistency. He's a very inconsistent player. On one night, he went 4 from 3. The remaining couple nights, he couldn't hit one. So it's like, come on now. But those are just your regular young player struggles. And as a mid-season performance, I'd give him a B+. He looks very promising. But yeah, with that being said, that pretty much wraps up this video. Let me know what you think about these grades. Who has been your favorite rookie? And do you want a part 2? Am I being too strict or too lenient? Y'all tell me. And yeah, I appreciate y'all watching. Like the sub, share it, sub if new, all of that. I'll see y'all boys in the next one, and I'm out.